The NFL Combine is in the books, and players stood out in good and not so good ways. What does it mean for the Chiefs and what they're looking for right now here on RGR? Welcome back, everybody. I'm Ryan. This is Ryan Going Rogue. The name of the channel is just that because I'm out on my own. I appreciate you guys being here. We're going to go through takeaways from the offensive line group in particular, but a couple of others from the combine, guys that I think the Chiefs are looking at very keenly and should be if they know what's good for them. Make sure that you like and sub and hit that bell. Become part of Rogue Nation because we have a great group going on here. Our community is all about ball, whether it's free agency, the draft, bringing in trades, getting ready for next season. It's all here year round, all the time. And we have some great stuff for you. If you want any of the Rogue Nation gear or anything else, you can get it in the store over there. And we have some great new stuff coming very, very shortly as well. Combine is always the highlight of the offseason for me, because you get everything all at once. You get on-field movement drills. You get actual testing that gives you data on athleticism. And if you guys don't know, that's what I base the whole athletic matrix on. If you guys know what RAS is a great historical comparison to other testing results in the past. It is nothing but functional, nothing functional at all. It just compares results, percentiles, how they stack up. The athletic matrix takes that and puts it on steroids and takes it up 10 levels because it is functional, algorithmic metrics that show you how a guy can get onto the field, how he combines all those skills and all those abilities and puts it together. And that's what the combine gives us, the data. But it also gives us the on-field drills that make us equate that one to another right there. It gives you some guys that are pluses on the athleticism side that maybe doesn't translate to the field. It gives you some guys that don't test well, but they get the job done when the film's on. And that's the most interesting part about team building for me and why I go back to this year after year, because what I'm trying to avoid is this. I'm trying to avoid this over and over and over because they can't afford to do it again. So let's run through a couple of the takeaways. Now, obviously, I, like many, are going to be very, very focused on the offensive line group and obviously the tackles within that group. And there's plenty of takeaways. We're going to go through a couple of them here. Some popular ones. Unlike maybe years past, the popular ones do make sense. Armand Membo is a popular pick for the Chiefs, and he is a fit. He's got the athleticism that you look for. And I thought performed not only well testing-wise, but really equated the testing to the on-field drills, and that lived up to the tape. Now, I'm not done on the tape. I take a first pass on all the players that I'm going to grade, and then I come back and I do a deeper dive on all of them. So I get a rough sort. My quarterback rankings will be out next week on NFL33.com, so don't miss that. The quarterbacks are going to drive a lot of the moves and a lot of the availability. But Armand Membo is going to be in that group that is up there in the first round, and he crosses off some T's. You have to have minimum for the Chiefs. Generally, they're going to put 33 inches at the bottom of what they'll take for an offensive tackle. He clears that. Had one of the top 10 splits at 174, clears that. Actually jumped 34 inches, and you got to love that. Right now, without the pro days and without the agilities, this year was even worse. Most guys didn't run the agilities. So all of our metrics build in what the expectation is for that guy and his mass and what it has to move at. He is right now Matrix 1. I'm just giving that away for you now. We'll see what happens when it's all said and done. We're going to have multiple versions of the Matrix this year. Obviously, all the combine data, and then we'll have, as the pro days come in, we will put out a second release that is a big update for all of it. Now, Membu is one. He's a local guy, obviously played at Mizzou. A lot of fans like him, and I do think that is a viable option for the Kansas City Chiefs, but it's not the only one. When you look down the list, another guy that I think has been very commonly associated with the Chiefs, and for good reason, is Josh Counterly out of Oregon. Before we get to the other prospects, I want to jump in because our folks, we're really happy to have Underdog on board for this offseason, one of our newest sponsors. Thank you to Underdog. And I know it's not football season, but you can get into a lot of things, whether it's basketball or like I'm watching hockey. Avalanche are the closest thing to a hometown team I have. So I'm going to start with them this week. I'm not huge on Wedgwood just because of the inconsistency that I'm not 100% on. So I like to start with McKinnon. You can always count on him. It's pretty simple, and you're not getting tons of multipliers, but I like to do a couple of things. And 1.5 points, I'm going to take the higher on him every single time because you can trust Nate McKinnon. That is not anything of a question. And the other guy that you can really trust that I enjoy watching, maybe more than any other Avalanche player, is my guy Makar. And I do think his ability to score is something that doesn't go to the headlines enough. I like this matchup. I think against Pittsburgh, he'll be pushed a little bit. I do think he'll have some opportunities to get loose. So I'm going to take him to put one in the net as well. And it's going to tell me, yes, of course, you have to come back and pick somebody from the other team. And that's why I'm going to go with Malkin. Evgeny, he's up and down. He's on my fantasy roster this season. And so I'm going to put him and take the higher on the point. I don't know about the shots because you can't always count on him to put multiples in there. But there's one more guy that I really want to get in on this particular role, and that is my guy, Colton. He came on really, really strong, missed some time, and then after the break, it's been kind of quiet. But from what I understand, he's coming on, he's skating better. And I'm really looking for him to put one in the back of the net too. And I'm loving these multipliers. So on this record, you're going to see that I've been able to put together a couple of picks. Didn't get a whole lot early, but then I got the multipliers going. It comes out at a 36x, and that's a lot of fun. So if I just want to put in, a mild amount and see what it gets me, it's going to pay off hugely. This is what you can do at Underdog, and you can do it all year round for every sport that you love. Make sure you go over, click the link down in the description. You're going to love Underdog Sports because you can get into it whenever you want. So get in that action. Check it out at Underdog Fantasy. Is Josh Counterly out of Oregon? He also hit a lot of the matrix that he needed to hit. Again, 33.5-inch arms. That works for me. It's on the lighter side, but it will work. He came in not elite, but it wasn't top 10 in 3 categories within the matrix. I'll give that away here later. But he's in the middle of that pack. And projection-wise, should come out top of 2, bottom of 1, somewhere in there. Don't think you'll have to trade up to get him is the key point here. And I do like the athleticism. You have a bunch of other tackles in there that had some good days out, including old Jayhawk Logan Brown. Got to enjoy it when a Jayhawk does something well. Could have 2 of the top 10 athletes in this group be local prospects from Mizzou and Kansas, which makes me super happy. You also had guys like Jalen Travis. Obviously, we mentioned Connerly. Will Campbell ended up on the shorter end of the arms, but, they're still going to project him super high. He came in under 33 at 32 and 5/8, and that is a little bit of a concern, but jumped pretty well, moved well. Obviously, it was a sub 540. You got to love that when it happens in an offensive lineman. Take that money and run. And then we get to Arante Ursary, who Dan's already broken down. If you missed that, go back and check out Dan's film work on him because he came in with the requisites that you have to have. And I don't think he's as much in demand as Connerly, and certainly not as Membu will be, but he's another guy that is going to be in the range that the Chiefs can reach without having to break the bank or even maybe trade up. He might be there. 33 and an eighth there, a 175 split. You got to like that. Didn't jump, isn't the most explosive athlete. Okay, that'll work. But he can get the job done on the field. And I do think that what Dan will show you, if you haven't seen it yet, is that there are more than one way to do this, even in this offense that is so zone heavy. Membu's a great fit for the zone run offense and can pass block as well. Maybe not everybody fits as good as him, but there are others. 2 that come to mind for me that are a little bit more risky in terms of they don't have the athleticism the Chiefs usually emphasize, like they did with Kingsley Suamataia, like they did with Eric Fisher, like they generally want to do. They do have some of the other prerequisites. 2 guys in particular stand out to me. It's Jonas Savanea out of Arizona, 33 and 7/8, almost 34-inch arms, also a 172 split. Gets out of his stance, and that's what's important, especially in the run game. Sub 540 for him as well. Again, wasn't super explosive in the jumps, but he did move pretty decently with a 4.66 short shuttle. And that's one of the keys for an offensive lineman. The short shuttle is one of the triggers that weighs heavily, not only in the matrix, but in a lot of teams' general. They just want to see that raw score. That's their general approach to offensive linemen. You get into the 4.4 and 4.49 and below, then you're really cooking. But at 4.6, you're feeling pretty good about that. And I do think he has the requisite length, can play versatily, 6'4". He can start out as a tackle and could shift inside, could do a bit of both. And I think he has the ability to survive at tackle. And then the guy that probably I might like a little bit more than most is Kelvin Banks. Again, a guy that might be available where they are drafting, or they might have to move up a little bit. But he comes in also at 33 and a half, got the requisite length, 32-inch vert. That's great for an offensive lineman. A little bit slower out of his stance, but can do the things that you need him to do. And I think he might be a value pick for the City Chiefs. So right now, the way that it's leaning, and we don't have our final film grades in there, these guys are all amongst the group that we feel is going to be easily a top 100 pick, pushing into top 50s. And that's where I think the magic is and what the Chiefs have to be looking for. So let me know what you guys think of these prospects. I'll come back and actually, I went longer here than I expected. So we'll go over some more coming as the next week or two go on about some reaction about who makes some fits, not just on the film, but in the athleticism that we know the Chiefs look for. It's kind of my favorite portion of it, and it's something that we're going to have to look at. So thanks for being with me today. Make sure you like and sub and hit that bell. Dan and Gary are coming. More from us later this week, all week long, 5 days a week, at least all season long. I think you will enjoy that. Thank you for your time. Have a good one. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.